The glass hadn't even touched hers yet when I noticed it. That look, not at me, past me, through me, like I was already gone. My sister's fingers tapped the rim of her wine glass. Slow, deliberate. A signal. I didn't know to who. Not yet. But something in my chest tightened. Instinct doesn't scream. It whispers, and I've learned to listen. Relax, my mother murmured beside me, her smile too wide, too fixed. It's just a picnic. Just. I nodded, smiled, played my role. But my mind had already stepped outside the moment, observing it like a crime scene. 3 days earlier, I'd seen a transaction. A small one. Routine. Rent payment. From an account I closed 6 months ago. That wasn't possible. Unless someone had access I didn't authorize. Or, unless I never really closed it. The message notification had come at 2:14 a.m. Payment successful. I remember staring at the screen in the dark, my reflection faint over the words. Not confusion. Recognition. Because betrayal never arrives new. It echoes. And suddenly everything started to align. The late-night calls my sister took in the kitchen. The way my father avoided eye contact whenever money came up. The subtle, rehearsed sympathy in my mother's voice whenever she said, "You'll figure things out." Like they already knew I wouldn't. Like they were watching me fail from a safe distance. I didn't confront anyone. I don't react. I verify. The next morning, I went through every archived statement, every authorization, every digital footprint tied to that account. There it was, a secondary access point, not recent, not obvious, old, added 8 years ago, under a name I trusted without question. My sister. I leaned back in my chair and exhaled slowly. Not anger. Not yet. Just clarity. She hadn't just used the account. She had maintained it, fed it, redirected funds. Small amounts at first, invisible, until they weren't, until rent was being paid. Her rent. I checked the lease records, cross-referenced addresses, dates, transfers. It lined up perfectly. Every month I struggled. She stabilized. Every time I dipped, she withdrew. And the worst part? They all knew. The laughter at dinners. The jokes about me still figuring life out. The passive comments about responsibility. It wasn't concern. It was performance. I closed my laptop gently, hands steady. This wasn't a mistake. It was a system, built slowly, maintained quietly. And I had been funding it. Not anymore. Confident, radiant, like someone who's never been questioned. To the one who always shows up, she began, her voice light, almost affectionate. I watched her, really watched her. The flick of her eyes toward our parents. Confirmation. Broke, desperate and still trying to matter. Laughter. My mother covered her mouth. My father shook his head like it was harmless. Like I was harmless. I picked up my glass. And for the first time that afternoon, I smiled. I let the laughter breathe. Stretch. Fill the space like something rotten pretending to be warm. Then I raised my glass. Not high. Just enough. Their eyes found me again. Expecting a joke. A self-deprecating line. Something predictable. I gave them silence first. Silence is uncomfortable for people who live in lies. To the desperate one, I said quietly. My sister's smile twitched. Just a fraction. Who just closed the account funding your rent. It didn't land all at once. Truth never does. It seeps. My mother blinked. My father's laugh died mid-breath. And my sister, she froze. Not dramatically. Not loud. Just still. Like her body hadn't caught up to the sentence yet. I took a sip. Calm. Measured. I added, setting the glass down with a soft click. If you're going to use my money, at least don't toast to my failure while doing it. Now it hit. Her face drained. What are you talking about? She asked, too quickly, too sharp. There it was. The crack. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a folded sheet. Not rushed, not theatrical. Prepared. I was wondering the same thing, I said, unfolding it, so I checked. I slid it across the table. Bank statements. Authorization logs. 8 years of quiet access. My father didn't touch it. My mother stared at it like it might disappear if she didn't move. But my sister, She looked, and that was enough. You went through my things, she whispered, grasping for ground that wasn't there. I almost smiled. Your things? I repeated softly. Interesting choice of words. Her lips parted, closed. No argument, no defense, because facts don't argue. They sit there, heavy. You've been siphoning from that account for years, I continued, voice even. Small enough not to notice, consistent enough to rely on. I tilted my head slightly. Smart. It wasn't a compliment. It wasn't like that, she started, but her voice collapsed halfway through. Of course it wasn't. It was exactly like that. And all of you knew, I said, shifting my gaze, mother, father, back to her. That's the part I respect most. My mother finally spoke. Sweetheart, we were going to tell you. No, I cut in gently. Not loud, not angry, just final. You weren't. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't mine. It belonged to them. I stood up slowly, brushing invisible dust from my sleeve. I closed the account this morning, I said. Every linked transfer reversed where possible, the rest flagged. My sister's breath caught. You can figure it out, I added, echoing her favorite phrase. Her eyes glistened now. Not from guilt, from fear. Good. I thought you were struggling, my father muttered, like that justified something. I looked at him. Really looked at him. I was, I said. A pause. You just made sure I stayed that way. No one spoke after that. They couldn't, because the version of me they built, the broke one, the desperate one, the one who needed them, he didn't exist anymore. I picked up my glass one last time, not to drink, just to feel the weight of it in my hand. Then I set it down, carefully, like everything else I was leaving behind. I didn't wait for apologies, didn't ask for explanations. People like them don't confess. They adjust. They rewrite. But I was done reading their version. As I walked away, I heard nothing behind me. No footsteps. No voices. Just silence. The kind that only comes when the truth has nowhere left to hide. And for the first time in years, it felt like peace. Not the kind you share, the kind you take back.